Howdy, folks. Today we're looking at Batman 608 in Facsimile from 2002 in DC Comics. Well, no way around it. The time has come to read Hush. Let's begin by placing our cards on the table. Hush is not my favorite Batman story, not by a long shot. My opinions don't really matter much in this equation, however. If it's true that critical consensus has settled firmly on the assertion that Hush is a frustrating reading experience buoyed by stellar art, the facts are plain on the ground. The market has spoken rather definitively in the matter, and Hush stands alone as the most popular Batman comic book of the new millennium, and thereby possibly the most popular DC comic of its era, period. The next time you're in the store, see for yourself just how many editions they have. A Hush for every budget. So the reservations of tutting critics don't amount to much in the face of decades of sales and influence. People like this story, they like it a lot, and buy it in every format the company feels like pushing. So here we are, with facsimiles of the original run sold last year, in anticipation of the recent sequel. Said sequel, of course, having so far failed to live up to the hype of the first, but that's to be expected. The first Hush was and remains a unique moment in time, for better and for worse, a conscious attempt by DC, fighting a sustained downturn, to reframe their flagship brand for a new era. As often the case for DC across the previous 6 decades, that meant getting the same people who were just at Marvel 5 or 10 years previous to revamp the line. And indeed, this series also marked a major return for one such talent, and the unambiguous reason why this book has sold so many copies over the years: the magisterial Jim Lee. This was 4 years after the sale of Wildstorm to DC, and while it would be inaccurate to say that Jim Lee didn't work at all during that period, he hadn't been in the trenches of monthly comics for a good few years by this point. It was clear from the results here that DC still valued his commercial draw as an artist, at least as much as his business acumen as a newly minted executive, and with good reason. Jim Lee could still move units in 2002, which you couldn't say about all the Image founders at the time. Of course, he was not the only name on the comic. He's joined by the writer Jeph Loeb, a figure of some controversy whose great virtue as a creator remains his ability to lob softballs to big-name artists. No small thing, as the enduring success of Hush attests. The book is full of things people want to see Jim Lee drawing, which turned out to be no small thing at that.